You've probably heard a million times that productivity is all about managing your time better. But what if the real secret isn't in your calendar at all, but in your mind? Today, we're going to dig into the surprising link between how you see time, your stress levels, and your ability to really truly focus. So, let me ask you this. Have you ever had one of those days? You're just constantly busy, bouncing from emails to meetings to your to-do list, and then at the end of the day, you kind of lean back and think, what did I actually do today? Yeah, if that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone, and we're about to figure out why. Okay, let's kick things off with a number that might just change how you look at your entire workday. A study from Stanford University found that only 2.5% of people can actually multitask effectively. For the other 97.5% of us, yeah, it's basically a myth. See, what most of us call multitasking isn't that at all. It's actually something called task switching. Every single time you jump from that report to your inbox and then back again, you're not doing two things at once. You're just forcing your brain to rapidly shift its attention. And trust me, that comes with a pretty big cognitive price tag. And this leads us right into our first big idea, what I like to call the great multitasking lie. We're about to unpack the real, measurable costs of this habit that, let's be honest, our culture loves to praise as some kind of superpower. And when you look at the hard data, whoa, it really tells a story. Research shows task switching can make any given task take up to 40% longer. You also end up making way more mistakes. But this is the one that gets me. A finding from Dr. Gloria Mark shows that after just one interruption, it can take your brain, on average, over 23 minutes to get back into that deep focus zone. Just think about how many times that happens in a single day. And this quote from Cal Newport, the author of Deep Work, just nails it. He captures this modern problem perfectly. In a world that is basically designed to distract us, the ability to just single task, to really focus, isn't just a nice skill to have anymore. It's becoming a genuine superpower. So if single tasking is the goal, the logical next step is to grab all the productivity tools, right? I mean, techniques like the Pomodoro method, with its strict 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off schedule, they seem like the perfect fix. But are they? Well, a really fascinating study from MDPI came up with some results that are, well, they're not what you'd expect. They compared people who took breaks whenever they felt like it, listening to their own body, to people who used structured timers like Pomodoro, and the results were kind of wild. The group using the timer actually saw their motivation decline faster and their fatigue go up faster. So, get this. The big takeaway is that forcing yourself into this rigid break schedule, even one that's supposed to help you focus, can totally backfire. It can pull you out of your flow and make you feel even more tired than if you just listen to yourself. This suggests the problem goes a lot deeper than just managing the minutes on a clock. And this is where we get to a much deeper mechanism at play. It seems the key isn't just what you do with your time, but how you fundamentally think about time itself. There's a name for this. It's called your time perspective. So according to the Zimbardo Time Perspective Inventory, we all tend to lean into one of these 5 orientations. Some of us are kind of stuck looking back, either with regret, that's past negative, or with fond memories, which is past positive. Others are all about the now, either seeking pleasure or feeling completely trapped. And then you've got the people who are always looking ahead, always focused on goals. But here is where this whole story takes a really sharp turn, straight into biology. Because this mental framework, this story you're telling yourself about time, it's not just some psychological quirk. No, it's a physiological reality. It shows up literally right there in your bloodstream. Okay, this brings us to the really mind-blowing part, how your perception of time can physically change the way your body responds to stress. So to get this, we have to talk about cortisol. You've probably heard of it. It's our main stress hormone. Think of it like your body's built-in alarm system. When your brain senses a threat, whether that's a huge deadline or, an actual tiger, it pumps out cortisol to get your body ready to act. And this right here is the absolute core of our story. A groundbreaking study from the NIH measured people's cortisol levels while they were stressed out. The results? Just astounding. People with what's called a maladaptive time perspective, so those who are stuck in past regrets or feel hopeless about the present, they actually had a blunted or lower cortisol response. Now, less stress hormone might sound good, right? But it's not. It's a condition called hypocortisolism, and it means their bodies aren't properly gearing up to face a challenge. It's linked to things like chronic fatigue and burnout. On the flip side, people with adaptive profiles had a healthier, higher response, letting them meet that stress head on. Let's just pause on that, because it's a really profound idea. The story you tell yourself about your own past, present, and future, it seems to be directly programming your body's most basic system for dealing with pressure. That's a game changer. So after this whole journey, from debunking multitasking all the way down to our own stress hormones, where does that leave us? What's the actual path to real, sustainable focus?
Well, let's recap the real story here. First off, we completely busted the myth of multitasking. It's just costly task switching. Second, we saw that those productivity hacks aren't a one-size-fits-all magic bullet. They can even backfire. Third, we uncovered this powerful hidden factor, our own internal time perspective. And finally, we connected that mental idea to the very real, very physical way our bodies handle stress.
And looking to the future, this skill of deep, single-minded focus is only going to become more critical. As organizational psychologist Dr. Tasha Eurich says, as more routine stuff gets automated, our real value is going to come from the kind of creative, innovative thinking that can only happen when we have undivided attention. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Real focus isn't just about managing your calendar or your to-do list. It actually starts with understanding the story you tell yourself about your own life's timeline. Your past, your present, and your future are physically shaping your ability to handle stress today. So what is your time perspective telling you?